Hey everyone, welcome back. So, had a ton of economic data come in this week. First one being the US Core Producer Price Index. And I have this on the max setting, so it's going all the way back to 2008. But look at that. It just sticks out from all the rest. And I mean, the forecast was for 0.2%. The actual number came in at 1.2%. And then also the US core retail sales, and both of these are month over month, by the way. Uh, Anyways, I also have this on the max saying this goes all the way back to 1992. And, it's not the highest, but look at that. And all of this is within 2020, 2021. That is insane. And all of this points to inflation. I mean, look at this. The actual percentage was 5.9% compared to the forecast of 1.0%. Building permits. That's another important one that came in. Look at that. Now, if you saw my previous video regarding the incoming housing tsunami, one of the main points I made there was that there's just simply too much demand because of the low interest rate and not enough supply. So we have all this new construction coming in to fill in that void in supply, but it's insane. And that correlates with lumber futures spiking as high as 1,000. It closed at 993.60 for the week, but it did reach as high as 1,000. And this is not just lumber. It's sugar, it's oil, a bunch of commodities are just spiking. And I don't think it's a coincidence. I strongly believe it's all correlated back to inflation, back to all this money printing. But of course, the Fed, they're in complete denial. Fed's George, rise in long-term yield so far is not concerning. Fed's Daily says the pressures on inflation are downward. Excessive inflation worries now will cost economy jobs. So which one is it? Rosengren, I mean, the list keeps on going. Rosengren, if inflation becomes a problem, the Fed will take care of it. And of course, to top it off, we have Yellen. She says, inflation is a risk, but greater risk is having pandemic take permanent toll on people's lives. So that sounds exactly along the lines what Daly was talking about, that if we worry about it now, it's just going to hurt the recovery. And I mean, while they're saying all this BS, you have people out there, like the CEO of Kraft Heinz and ConAgra, they said they may raise some product prices as grains, edible oil costs surge. In the gym now, and the TVs are all set to Fox Utah, and they all have the same banner headline: retail and food prices soaring. And of course, the deep freeze in Texas. I mean, yeah, if the blackouts were bad, now households have to pay electricity bills as high as $10,000. Who's going to pay all that? Like, what? But of course, conveniently, energy and food, two of the things we're seeing that are spiking across the country, are not included in the CPI, conveniently enough. Now, on top of that, we had initial jobless claims, and they forecasted for 765,000 initial jobless claims. We got 861,000 instead. I had mentioned in the previous video that the moratoriums were in effect until the end of March of this year. So Biden extended that to the end of June, and Biden got a lot of crap during the town hall because he shot down the entire idea of canceling $50,000 in student debt per student. He was committed to the $10,000, he said, but of course the Democratic Party wants him to do $50,000. In fact, some Congress people like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she's saying just forgive it all. Now, lastly, of course, the Fed's balance sheet continues to expand. If we take a look here, we see that their balance sheet compared to last week, it increased about 115 billion to 7.55 trillion. You have to wonder how much money was spent so far globally. I mean, as we can see here, about $24 trillion was put into the economy. And I mean, that leaves us at a debt to GDP ratio globally at over 355%. It's really frustrating to see all this data. It's just screaming at you, but the Fed pretend it doesn't even exist. Anyways, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to reach out. Please subscribe, like the video, share, and I will see you all in the next one.